Hello everyone, how are you guys? I haven't been on here in what, 4 or 5 years? It's crazy, so much has changed. I think the last time I was on here I was 18. But yeah, I'm here, I'm back, I'm better than ever. So you guys better sip your tea. It's gonna be a long video. Okay, so today's purpose of this video is to basically just show awareness to what anxious attachment style is and to provide 5 different healing ways of having to solve the anxious attachment style. Basically, what an anxious attachment style is, it's basically just a learned behavior from childhood, from trauma, that made you feel like you need constant reassurance, that made you think that something bad is constantly going to happen to you because of another person, or you having to feel like you need to prove yourself to someone over and over again just to get their approval. With the first thing that helped me with discovering my anxious attachment style is being more self-aware. So I asked myself, why am I acting this way? Why are my personality traits this way? And what is it from my childhood that made me develop this anxious reaction towards another individual, like me begging for their attention, right? With being self-aware, you start to think, okay, well, what steps do I need to take in order to heal myself? So the first thing that I would say is, building your self-esteem. So, obviously for one is, going to the gym, looking at yourself, I look good, what's up, I got a 6-pack, I got gains, and I feel like once you build confidence within that, you're gonna be more confident and be like, okay, like, I don't need this individual to tell me, constantly reassuring me, hey, like, you look good, because I know I look good. Because why? Because you worked for it. And that's something that you need to realize. I would say for me, when I worked on my self-esteem, I would always write on the mirror, I am capable, I am enough, I am handsome. I would tell myself, be more optimistic. After 25 days, I developed the habit of, okay, I am this, I am actually that. And I consciously embedded in my mind and I started to believe it. Once I built my self-esteem in that aspect, it helped me out a lot because I didn't put myself in bad situations because I started to love myself more. I used to think that bad company was better than no company. That's not how it should be, because you can end up in really bad predicaments like I have been in the past. Step 2, I would say just rediscovering yourself, finding out, okay, yeah, me and this person like to do this together, but what do I like to do on my own? What is it that makes me happy? What is a hobby that provides purpose for me? What is something that I've always wanted to work on, And what is a skill that I can develop within myself? With doing all of that, you start developing a relationship with your own self. Focusing on yourself, the person that you're anxiously attached to will start to see that and even show gratitude towards you. And you're so focused on yourself, and people will just start and everything will start aligning, because everything happens and it's in the way it's supposed to. And I always tell myself that when you start rediscovering yourself and you develop what you like, what you don't like, that'll also give you a better interpretation of what you want and what you can handle and the boundaries that you need to set. So this leads into the next step, setting boundaries. So learning how to set boundaries is a really good thing. It's something that I had to learn over the past, I would say, 2 years, because that was really difficult for me. I never knew when to say no. I always made myself available to anyone and everyone because of my anxious attachment style, because I always felt like I needed to prove myself to everyone. I started to say no to certain people, and they realized that. And then they wanted me around even more. Your presence is a privilege. If it's not loved and if it's not thanked, then you don't need to be in that environment. But you also need to know what the difference between setting a boundary or if it's the anxious attachment that's making you make these decisions. So for example, let's say your significant other says, hey babe, I'm gonna go out tonight with some friends, blah, 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 blah. Because of your anxious attachment style, you're gonna start thinking to yourself, well, why didn't he invite me? Or does he not love me enough? Or you're gonna say, okay, well, I need to do X, Y, and Z to prove myself so I can be able to go with him. But in reality, Just because he's going out with his friends or she's going out with his friends, it doesn't mean that they love you any less. He just wants to go out with his friends and just them. Realize that you two are in each other's lives, but you two aren't your whole lives. You guys have your separate interests and your separate, connects. And I feel like that is really important to find balance between they aren't your whole life, they're only part of it. I can't stress that enough, and that is something that for me I'm still learning on. Another thing, I think this is step 4, I'm not sure. I would say learn how to take things at face value. Don't overanalyze certain situations because someone is telling you one thing and they're doing another. Just take it for what it is and leave it at that. You're wasting all of your energy overthinking, overanalyzing the subject when it's already been done, it's already been talked about. It doesn't need to be talked about again if nothing has changed. Something that hasn't been communicated and you think that it's something else, I would just leave it at the forefront. Maybe communicate with the person, hey, I know you said this, but your actions are doing another. What is it really? Because if you're lacking the communication, you're basically just overanalyzing the topic for no reason when you don't need to. And because you're overanalyzing and you're overthinking, the attachment style is just gonna grow stronger and stronger and stronger because you haven't spoken up. And I feel like that's something that a lot of people struggle with. People don't know how to say how it is. People don't know how to say how they truly feel. But that isn't your job to figure out if you keep trying to fight for them trying to communicate. And if they don't know how to do it, and if you've spoke to them multiple times, that's when you know it's not meant for you, and it probably will never be if they're not gonna learn. And I know how with having an anxious attachment style, it makes it that much harder, but that's when you need to figure out and take yourself and love yourself enough to just move on. Because you are your most important person in your life. Because no one is going to have your back the way you have yours. And even when you rely on everyone else, it makes you less credible. It makes you less independent. And that's not what we want out of this life. We want to experience. We want to just be happy and be satisfied with yourself and just grow constantly, always. I hope that kind of helped a few things. I'm not sure how my future videos are gonna look like, but I thank you guys for watching. I don't know what time you guys are watching it from, but I hope you have a good day, good night, and subscribe down below. Love ya, and I'll make new videos soon. Thank you. Bye.